You want to feel relaxed during sex. But as soon as things get physical, your body tightens and your brain spins out. This video breaks down the belief driving that pressure and gives you a way to shift it. You'll hear one metaphor, one expert quote, and one client story that might change everything for you. Most guys struggling with psychological ED have one unconscious definition of sex: penetration plus climax equals success. That's the number one reason for ED right there in my experience of having helped a ton of guys resolve ED over the last 20 years or so. But that equation turns every sexual experience into a test, and there's only one way you can pass. So when this pressure spikes, your nervous system panics, blood flow disappears, your body shifts from connection into self-protection. It's your brain trying to keep you safe from something that feels high stakes and high risk. It's just a cultural script that millions of guys have innocently bought into, but it's been killing their sex lives. Time to start writing a new script? From a young age, most guys are taught to equate sex with performance. Porn reinforces it. Masculinity myths hardwire it. So every experience becomes a test. Get it right or loser. Get it right or you're a failure. But sex isn't a test unless you make it one. Your worth isn't on the line every time you go to have sex unless you put it there. When you stop demanding that your body perform perfectly and start giving it space and time to connect, things shift. So does your confidence. For most women, yeah, penetrative sex is great. But from the research I've seen, there are so many things in sex, in the relationship, that are more important. How supportive a partner are you? When was the last time you did something really nice for her? Do you treat her well? Could you be better when there's a disagreement? Do you compliment her? Make her feel valued? Make her feel wanted? Do you communicate well? I know you don't see much of this stuff on Pornhub, but I'm telling you, it's important. And believe it or not, it plays in the bedroom. If you're a great partner outside of the bedroom, it's like already having lots and lots of ways to distribute the pressure. Here's how I picture what's happening with a lot of the guys I work with. Think of that cup as being penis and vagina sex. Think of the kettlebell as all the pressure, all the expectations, all the fear of failing on just that one act, that one option. It's too much. The cup folds. Because no one act was meant to carry your entire self-worth, all your confidence, all your ability to connect. But that's what happens when we're taught that penetration is the whole point, the only point. What culture sells, what porn exaggerates, what performance scripts demand. Now, let's say we have 8 or 10 cups, each one a different skill, a different way to connect with your partner, a different thing you bring to the relationship. Add the kettlebell. Now it holds. No panic, no collapse. That's the kind of support your nervous system's been waiting for. And when things do get sexy, what if, and I know this is going to sound completely crazy to some of you, penetration wasn't the only way you measured success? What if your body didn't have to brace for an exam? What if feeling good together with your partner was the goal? And you had lots and lots of ways to enjoy reaching it. Imagine if you had dozens of cups to spread out the pressure. Can you imagine what it would be like for your partner if you showed up as a creative lover who is really good at connecting in all kinds of different ways? What if you got really good at erotic massage? Maybe to the point where you're a master of getting her off with your hands. Can you imagine how she'd react if you went back to cunnilingus school and came out with some amazing new skills? Have you ever tried breath synchronization or trying to match your energy, your vibe with hers? What would it be like if you went out of your way to fulfill that fantasy of hers? How about role play? Some women love it. Toys, 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 toys. You've probably heard of the rock star Sting. He has sex for 7 hours at a time. How? Tantric skills. He's not hard that whole time. What would it be like if you learned some of those skills? How about 50 Shades of Bondage and Kink? Those books sold over 35 million copies. A lot of women love that kind of energy in the bedroom. Quick thing you might find to be helpful. All the work we're doing here is about a long-term solution. But I know sometimes you just need a reboot, an on-the-spot tool to break that cycle of anxiety. So I made the Pressure Release Reset. It's a free 20-minute guided hypnosis session designed to dissolve intense performance pressure so you can get out of your head and back into the moment. If you want to have this ready for the next time you need it, just click in the first link in the description down below. I'll send it to you right now, and it's completely free. G-spot, crura, A-spot, cervix, posterior fornix. Can you confidently say you're a master of all the sweet spots of her pussy? If not, can you imagine what it would be like if you took the time to learn? Dirty talk. You might be surprised at the reaction you get. Eye gazing. Again, stuff you're not going to see a whole lot of on Pornhub that can really make a difference for her. What if you learned to pay attention to her much more closely, being really sensitive to her as you're touching, really tuning into her vibe, being really good at creating all the little tensions and releases that can make for an erotic experience where she feels like you're there with her 100%. This isn't settling. This is becoming the kind of lover who creates safety, presence, connection, anticipation, arousal. And when your partner feels all that, she's probably going to be too busy having amazing orgasms to do any kind of grading. And she's probably going to be loving all these other ways there are for you to enjoy sex together. I'll tell you a quick story about a client I worked with. I'll call him Mike. But quick aside, if you'd ever like to talk about working with me live, just give me a call or drop me a note. Like I said, I've helped a ton of guys resolve their ED over the last 20 years or so. Maybe I can help you too. Okay, Mike. When he first reached out, he was panicking. In his words, he was striking out 8 out of 10 times in the bedroom. And for him, it was all about penis and vagina performance. Home run or nothing. We were working together, and he was making some good progress with his performance. So it came out of nowhere for him when his wife got mad and told him, "You've made sex all about you and your performance." It shook him. But he listened. He took the time and learned a whole bunch of new skills to bring back into the bedroom. His wife was loving it, both all the great orgasms she was getting, as well as the fact that she felt like he was really putting her first. And the better a time she was having, the more he relaxed and just let himself enjoy sex again. But here's the thing. Mike didn't overcome ED. He outgrew the narrow frame that created it. Having a lot more choices, a lot more cups, made it easy for him to relax. Once he was relaxed, the erections were easy. Do you want to know what women actually say about the best lovers they've had? It's not usually, "He was huge," or "He lasted forever." It's usually, "He paid attention. He made me feel wanted. He didn't rush. He was playful. He loved my body." None of that stuff requires an erection, but all of it creates an environment where an erection can happen. That's the paradox here. When you stop chasing performance, your body starts feeling good and getting hard. So what if penetration doesn't happen? Is that a failure? Or is it just one page in a much bigger book? Barry McCarthy and Michael Metz wrote a great book about helping guys solve ED. They say this: if you continue to demand your body perform with 100% predictability, it will result in relapse. So to make it easier for guys to quit demanding, they recommend always having a non-intercourse option. Sensual, emotionally safe other stuff to do in the bedroom. It's not about giving up penetration. It's about building something that doesn't collapse without it. Here's one last thought. What if there wasn't a finish line? What if sex wasn't about reaching one specific outcome in one specific amount of time? What if you could stay connected and aroused over time? A sexual energy that could build and ebb between you throughout the day, into the night, over days. What if intimacy didn't rest on a single act or period of time, but rather on dozens of small moments of sexuality that all work together to hold up the relationship. You've got more than one cup. And the more you can see this, I think the better you'll feel and the better your sex life will be. Is there something here worth playing with? I leave it to you to decide. Thanks for watching.
Before we wrap up, just a quick reminder. If you want that hypnosis tool for immediate anxiety relief, the Pressure Release Reset, don't forget to download it for free using the link in the description down below.